Today, the Queen's Guard is living on a prayer outside Buckingham Palace. Harry teases a duet with Bon Jovi.
1, 2, 3.
And we remember Diana's first ever royal tour.
Does Prince William have a favourite toy?
He loves his koala bear he's got.
Welcome to the Royal Report. I'm your host, Sharon Carpenter. And with me today, my adorable sidekick, Max, aka the Count of Cuteness. Catch Max. That's for you. Oh, well done, impressive. And now, the news. On Thursday, we learned that there's actually a limit to Canadian hospitality after providing security for Harry and Meghan since their November arrival. The Canadian government issued a statement saying that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police will be standing down as soon as the Sussexes officially step down as senior members of the royal family. The Duke and Duchess previously stated that they'll continue to require effective security to protect them and their son, and that no further details can be shared as this is classified information for safety reasons. More on this later. On Friday, Harry travelled to the iconic Abbey Road studios in London to come together with Jon Bon Jovi, even recreating the Beatles' classic album cover. The Prince and the rock star teamed up for a special recording of Jon's song Unbroken for the upcoming Invictus Games. While Harry left the singing to the talented Invictus Games choir, the Duke did share this preview of the song on Instagram. Looking forward to the full song when it's released later this month, for sure. And it turns out they weren't the only ones covering Bon Jovi classics on Friday. During the changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's Guard band played a medley of Bon Jovi songs, which of course included Living on a Prayer, and which was shared on the royal family's Instagram. Not a bad way to liven up a 300-year-old ceremony, right? Meanwhile, Prince William was plenty lively on Sunday as he was spotted at Wembley Stadium supporting his favourite football team, Aston Villa. They were competing in the Carabao Cup finals against Manchester City. Unfortunately, William's excitement was short-lived as Aston Villa wound up losing the title match 2-1. And speaking of titles, yesterday we learned that Princess Beatrice will be getting 2 new ones when she marries Edoardo Mopelli-Mozzi on May 29th. Because Edoardo is a descendant of Italian aristocracy, following the wedding, Beatrice will become an Italian Contessa and Nobildonna, which means noblewoman. Congratulazioni, Beatrice. How do you like my accent? And finally, William and Kate touched down in Ireland today to kick off their 3-day tour of the Emerald Isle. The Duke and Duchess met with Irish President Michael D. Higgins before heading to the Garden of Remembrance, a memorial dedicated to those who gave their lives for Irish independence. All right, joining me now, People Senior News Editor Erin Hill is here with us.
Hi.
Great to have you back, Erin. How are you doing?
Great.
Lots to talk
Yes.
about. All right, let's jump in. So one of the events that has royal watchers super excited that's happening this year, Princess Beatrice's wedding, of course. Can't wait for that. As I just mentioned, she's taking on 2 new titles when she gets married, Contessa and Nobildonna. So what exactly do these titles mean, and will she have any new responsibilities or powers that come with them?
Yeah, this is exciting because unlike her sister Eugenie, who didn't get any titles when she got married last year to Jack Brooksbank, Beatrice is going to come away with a couple new titles, but they're from her aristocratic Italian husband's side of the family. Yeah. So these are inherited because she's now marrying into this kind of long-standing aristocratic Italian family. So she has those 2 new titles, which will also be bestowed upon her future children.
So how much do we know about Edoardo? Where is he from exactly? What's he do for a living? Family background? We need the juicy details.
Yeah, so his family is of Italian aristocratic background. He is a count, which then makes Beatrice a countess. And then we know that he is a successful real estate executive. He started his own real estate firm back in 2007. He's now the CEO, and it's very successful. He's become a multi-millionaire because of that. In his personal life, he's also father to a toddler son. son that he had from a previous relationship. So Beatrice is going to become a stepmother.
Wow, so the perfect match, it sounds like. Okay, so moving on to Harry and Meghan, their security situation is very fascinating. So last week we learned Canada will no longer pay for their protection once they step back from royal duty.
Yes.
So first question for you, why are they paying in the first place? And secondly, why will they stop next month?
So Canada agreed to pay on the request of the UK government because Meghan and Harry are considered internationally protected members of the royal family. Now that they are stepping down at the end of the month as official working royals, that doesn't necessarily fall in with what Canada had agreed to when they first came into their country. So they are going to stop funding their security from that point on.
Okay, well, the Sussexes have made it clear they're going to need continued
Yes.
security, right? So what are your sources telling you as far as who might be providing that security and who's going to fit the bill?
Well, the palace hasn't commented yet, so we'll still yet to be seen who's going to front that bill. They have said this is more of a private matter because a lot of safety reasons, so they don't want to reveal too much about the security and the protection. But Meghan and Harry have stated that they still require this protection. Harry is still a member of the royal family. He is a grandson of the Queen, son of the future King, Princess Diana's son. Yeah. And if we learned anything from Diana's situation, when she stopped, when she got divorced from Charles and technically was no longer a HRH status either, she didn't have the protection from the Metropolitan Police. She had a private security firm guarding her, and we all know, what happened to her, and
yes.
would that outcome would have been different maybe if she had that, taxpayer-funded, government-funded security. So I think this is important for them for that reason, and they have Archie to protect as well. So whether they end up funding that themselves or the UK, we'll kind of keep a lookout for that.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, Erin, I think it's time to play a quick game of Rumour or Fact. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Okay, first up, Rumour or Fact, the Queen had a private lunch with Harry this past Sunday.
This is fact. They did reunite. This is the first time they've really been together since the famous Sandringham summit, where they ironed out all the details of the royal exit. Royal sources are telling us that this was more of a lunch between a grandson and his granny versus a high-level summit where they're discussing, important details of the exit. So,
What did they talk about?
you can imagine probably catching up on things about Archie, kind of plans, for the future in terms of, anything they have going on, their life in Canada, maybe spending some time in LA.
Bon Jovi probably as well.
Right. I'm sure lots of Archie talk, though.
Okay, great. All right. Next one. This we've been hearing a lot of buzz about, mostly conflicting reports.
Yes.
Rumour or Fact, Meghan will attend the Met Gala this coming May.
Unfortunately, this is looking more like a rumor. This would have been her first, Hollywood event since being a royal. There were rumors that maybe she'd attend alongside British Vogue editor-in-chief Edward Enninful, but this is starting to look like it's more rumor than fact. But we'll keep an eye out because
Fingers crossed. I
Fingers
would love
crossed,
to
that
see
would
what
be
she
amazing.
wears if she makes it to the Met Ball. All right, Erin, thanks so much for joining us. See you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we have to take a short break now, but first, Max is going to tell us what's coming up next. Welcome back to the Royal Report. Joining us now, People Senior Style Editor Brittany Talarico. Brittany, always great to see you.
Excited to be here.
And I'm super excited. Today's my favorite segment, the Look for Less. Okay, so today we're talking about royal looks that are taking on the midi skirt trend, right?
Yeah, so both Meghan and Kate have worn this trend. It's a huge trend. The midi skirt is the one piece I think everyone should have in their closet. It's a great silhouette. It's a flattering silhouette. And, they both did great takes on this look.
They both do it so well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off with Meghan. It's
Yes.
her outfit for her only official outing of the year so
Yes.
far. A visit to Canada House to thank the country for their hospitality last year. Walk us through this look.
Yeah, this was a great look. Another monochrome look for Meghan. We know she loves the monochrome monochromatic outfit moment. She kind of mixed it up with different shades of brown. We have this great Massimo Dutti satin skirt for $117. Yeah, it's beautiful. And she paired it with a matching Massimo Dutti silk and wool sweater, which looks great. A little bit of a different shade of brown. I love that styling choice. That was $70. A great pair of Jimmy Choo velvet pumps for $313, a little more pricey. And this gorgeous Reese wool coat for $450. Now the coat and the shoes are kind of her investment pieces of this look.
Yeah.
And the other two, the trendier pieces, she spent a little less money on, which is kind of a very relatable thing. Massimo Dutti's like a Zara. So I think it's kind of great to see this high-low mix that we get from Megan a lot, you know, which is awesome. And the whole look is $950.
Oh, wow, a little pricey.
It's a little bit pricey.
Well, you found the look for less, didn't you?
Yes, we managed to recreate it for less than the price of her shoes.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm taken aback. Okay, tell me about it.
Yes, so we found a great Moon River satin skirt for $66. Same kind of brown shade, same silhouette, very flattering on. It's awesome.
Wow.
An H&M turtleneck for $15.
$15,
a staple. You can wear this again and again.
Amazing.
It's a great kind of light brown shade. A pair of Kendall and Kylie pumps for $134.
Okay, not bad.
Yep, and a Lulu's coat, which is almost an exact, you know, look for less for $50. A wool coat. It still looks expensive.
It's just like it.
It looks just like it. The whole look, $265.
Amazing,
yes.
Brittany.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right, so let's move on to Kate, shall we? Her look while promoting her childhood development survey at a children's centre in Wales. Tell us about the outfit.
So this caused a huge stir. Kate stepping out in a Zara skirt, a Zara leopard midi skirt.
Yeah, on trend.
On trend. So with these midi skirts, an animal print is a huge trend and something you can pull out of your closet again and again. And it was really refreshing to see Kate wear something so trendy that like street style bloggers are wearing, right?
It was.
And it was only $50 from Zara. So a great skirt, sold out almost immediately, but that's okay because we found one. So I'll get there in a second.
Nice.
A nice black turtleneck from her closet, a staple piece from her closet. We all probably have a black turtleneck. Pair of Ralph Lauren black suede boots. These were $1,100.
$1,100.
Yes, so
That's up
these
there.
were more expensive. She wears these again and again, an investment piece for her. So she's getting a lot of cost per wear.
walking out
Yes, a
those.
lot of walking. And then a Massimo Dutti wool cashmere coat for $450. This was a pricey look. The total look, $1,600.
$1,600.
Yes.
Yeah, out of my budget.
Yes.
But what about your look for less?
Well, we
you
found a
recreated
look for
it.
less. A leopard midi skirt from Boohoo for $20.
My goodness.
Yep, same kind of black waistband,
Wow.
same very similar silhouette, only $20. And you can wear this again and again to pair it with a black turtleneck, also from Boohoo for $8. $8.
For the turtleneck.
Yeah, $8 for the
Brittany,
turtleneck.
how do you do it?
I mean, I love finding those looks for less. Lulu's boots, $42. The same kind of heel, which is a really nice heel height. You know, it's easy, not too high, so it's good for walking. You probably wear these again and again. And then a wool coat from Boohoo for $58. So this whole look was $128.
That's it, 128.
Yes. We did it.
Versus, what was it, 1900?
1600.
1600,
Yep.
okay.
10% of the total look.
Amazing,
Yeah,
Brittany.
it's an incredible, and they're pieces you will wear again and again, and it's fun to see, you know, the royals wearing these trendy pieces. And I think everybody should go out and buy that midi skirt.
Wow, great work. I'm going to go out and buy it tonight. I know it's on my shopping list.
I wore animal print today, inspired by Kate. So there you go.
Okay, looking good, Brittany. Thank you. We'll do it again soon.
Can't wait.
Okay, now many people have asked how Max gets pumped up before a show. Take a look. Max, time for the show. Let's go. Max, who knew you loved 80s rock? Well, you're a rock star after all, aren't you? When we return, we'll be going back in time to Princess Diana's first royal tour. Welcome Welcome back, everyone. This month marks the 37th anniversary of Princess Diana's first ever royal tour, which we're commemorating with our latest installment of the Diana Diaries.
After days of torrential rain in the Alice, the skies were clear this morning. After a wait of several minutes, the Prince and Princess emerged, showing no sign of the long flight.
On March 20th, 1983, Princess Diana and Prince Charles landed in Alice Springs, a remote town located in the heart of Central Australia. This was the start of Diana's first ever royal tour, a 6-week trip that would include both Australia and New Zealand.
The Australian tour was huge. There were hundreds of photographers and reporters on the tarmac. There were thousands of people waiting to meet them. And this tour was a huge deal for Diana. It was her first big chance on the royal stage. She was going to go out and meet people and meet dignitaries, and she had to behave like a princess.
At this point, Diana is only 22 years old, and she's a brand new mother, having given birth just 8 months earlier to Prince William. And one of the most significant aspects of this tour is the fact that Diana chose to bring baby William along.
Barrage of cameras and recorders was reduced to chaos as the royal nanny, Miss Barbara Barnes, brought Prince William down the stairs.
Now, historically, the Queen, as a working mother, did not bring her children on tour, and famously left Prince Charles at one point for 6 months when he was a baby. So this was a big break from royal tradition, and it shows us a lot about Diana and her priorities and the way she plans to raise her kids, which is being very present in their lives.
And then the moment more than 100 reporters and cameramen flew from all over the world to see the public debut of 9-month-old Prince William, second in line to the throne.
As soon as the royal couple and really the royal young family landed, they got right down to business, posing for photos, speaking with reporters. But the real attraction, the main draw, was clearly baby Prince William.
His first public showing was to be in the airport terminal building, but media officers decided the scores of camera flashes would be too much for the baby prince.
Prince William was actually whisked away pretty quickly, and he was taken to what the Australians call a sheep station, and in the care of his nanny. And later, Diana would reflect that although she knew that she wouldn't be able to spend a lot of time with him, this was a working royal tour, she was just glad as a new mom to know that she and William were sleeping under the same sky, which is a really sweet sentiment.
Yet another crowd of about 500 waited all morning outside the hotel for one glimpse of the couple.
Due to flooding before they arrived, their posh hotel was actually inaccessible, so they had to stay as a royal family at a motel, probably a first for the royals.
Very briefly, they did see Prince Charles slip across the balcony from one room to another.
On the first full day of their tour, Charles and Diana visited the Alice Springs School of the Air, an education program that broadcasted daily lessons to 110 children spread out across 650,000 miles of outback.
The question there was, has Prince William a little bike yet? Yes.
Stephen, he hasn't got one yet. We think he's a bit small. But perhaps when he's your age and size, we might get him one.
The students there were able to actually ask questions of Charles and Diana, which was really a fun way to do it, using radio transmitters. And there was one question they were not permitted to ask, and that was, do you sleep in a double bed? That question was nixed by palace aides, but there were a lot of other cute questions.
Good morning, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. My name is Forrest Egan and I'm 6 years old.
Does Prince William have a favourite toy?
He loves his koala bear he's got. But he hasn't got anything particular. He just likes something with a bit of noise.
Plastic whale which throws things out.
He got a plastic whale that throws things out the top, little balls.
Later that day, the royals flew to Australia's most striking tourist attraction, Ayers Rock. The flat-top rock is a sacred monument of the Aborigines, and Diana and Charles met with 3 of the elders of the Aborigines. Charles led Diana on a climb up the rock, and then later they descended to watch the sunset. This was kind of an iconic photo moment. Diana was wearing this white daisy dress.
The dress that Diana wore at Ayers Rock was a famous one. It was beautiful, it was this white dress, the sun was shining down on her. It was really one of the highlights of her wardrobe on that tour.
On March 22nd, the royal couple flew an hour north to Tennant Creek, where they visited a local primary school.
Hundreds of children were excited about the event they'd been planning for months. Princess Diana was again given more roses and daffodils than she could handle.
One of the most memorable parts of the tour was how comfortable Diana was with all the local children. You could always find her crouching down to say hello, accepting flowers from them. She was clearly in her element when she was talking to kids.
This trip also set the baseline for how Diana was going to approach these royal tours in the future. The main core of it for Diana was ensuring that there was a humanitarian aspect to these trips. And for her, that meant connecting with people, with children getting on their eye level, shaking hands, the kinds of things we hadn't seen from royals in the past.
Today's visit was not on the original schedule for Charles and Diana, but they'd expressed a wish to see the areas where the fires had caused so much destruction and heartbreak.
As part of Diana's interest in shining a light on people who need it most, she and Charles made a trip to Cockatoo, which was a town near Melbourne that had been badly affected by bushfires at the time. So they journeyed there, they met with first responders, relief workers, firefighters, and they also planted a tree.
The children clearly loved Diana, and they were giving her flowers and teddy bears, and she loved them back. You could tell, even as she was talking to them and accepting their presence, that was where she was most comfortable.
Simon, what did you say to the princess?
I said, how come did she hate a baby?
Later that week, Charles and Diana landed in Sydney to a warm welcome with hundreds of children awaiting them on the tarmac.
Here at the airport, as elsewhere, she displayed the rapport with children for which she's become justly famous.
This was a really fun moment because we see Charles and Diana in this open-top convertible, and they're really giving the fans, especially the children, what they were waiting for, which is a clear view of the royal couple. And we also see Diana's soaring popularity at this point. The reception for her was just nothing but cheers and smiles and excitement.
The couple's first stop was the iconic Sydney Opera House for a concert performed by local school children.
The New South Wales Premier, named Neville Wran, made a speech welcoming both Charles and Diana to the area. And actually, Charles himself made a speech saying that he felt like he was among friends that day.
I do genuinely feel that I am among old and valued friends. Old because it is now 17 years, believe it or not, since I first set foot as a hesitant pom.
Everyone wanted to catch a glimpse of the princess. And today, the photos and video from that appearance are iconic because Diana just seems to be enveloped by this sea of adoring fans.
Interesting to note here that this beautiful pink dress that Diana brought to Australia with her was also a royal rewear. She wore it to Prince William's christening in Buckingham Palace.
Later that evening, Charles and Diana attended a charity ball at the Sheraton Wentworth Hotel, a noteworthy event as this was the first time the royal couple were ever filmed dancing together.
Diana and Charles did a dance together, and it's a really sweet moment. You know, Diana was actually a pretty talented dancer in her own right and had trained for a long time as a young girl. And it turned out Charles wasn't bad himself, so we see him twirling her around and her seeming to really enjoy and delight in it, and it's fun to watch.
Of course, being a royal tour, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance, so we get to see Diana dress up for a number of different occasions, and so many gorgeous gowns and different looks.
And of course, no visit to Australia is complete without meeting Crocodile Dundee, or at least the actor who played him, Paul Hogan.
On April 17th, after nearly a month down under, Charles, Diana and young Prince William left Australia for the second leg of their tour, 2 weeks in New Zealand.
Overall, the tour was very successful. Diana, as young as she was and as inexperienced with royal life as she was at that point, seemed to be very confident and seemed to be enjoying herself. And she and Charles were working as a team, and things were off to a great start.
The Royal Report will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It's now time for great moments in royal history.
It's been a challenge for us But by trial and experience, I believe we have achieved a sensible division of labour and a good balance between our individual and joint interests. Of course, after 50 years of experience, I find there's a great temptation to give advice.
On November 20th, 1997, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip celebrated a golden milestone, 50 glorious years of marriage. The joyous day began with a Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey, which was of course the site of their historic wedding a half-century ago. Afterwards, the royal couple mingled with the crowd which had gathered to mark this momentous occasion.
It was a chance for those who on a chilly day with the threat of rain wanted to offer congratulations in person.
Finally, the Queen and her husband headed to Whitehall for a luncheon where she gave a heartfelt speech to honour the love of her life.
He is someone who doesn't take easily to compliments, but he has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years. And I and his whole family, and this and many other countries, owe him a debt greater than he would ever claim, or we shall ever know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen and Prince Philip.
All right, Royal Watchers, that's our show for today. But before we go, we want to give a shout out to friend of the show, Farley Dale, who's watched every single episode of The Royal Report so far. Happy birthday, Farley, from all of us here at the show, and especially Max. And as always, I want to thank Max, my cute co-host. You can follow him at Max the Corgi NYC. And remember to follow People on Twitter to watch the latest episodes of The Royal Report, streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm Sharon Carpenter. Ta-ta! Till next time.